My name is Ahmed. I'm from Mumbai, India. I came and I studied here in Turkey, and now I'm going to Vienna. I've been invited here by Prime Group to share my experience about how I'm ending up in one of the best places to study in Europe. Here's how Turkey helped me a lot. I came from Mumbai, and one might ask why I came to Istanbul. I'm studying in Istanbul Bilgi University, and I'm studying English literature. And lots of people have asked me like, why, Ahmed, are you going to Istanbul to study English? Like, this is a place where people don't speak English. Like, if you want to go to English, go to UK, go to Europe, go to America, go to Australia. Why Turkey? And honestly, if I can be very honest here, I had no plans to come here. You know, I was planning to go to Europe, I was planning to go to US, and I kept applying to these universities, and I kept getting rejected. And at the last point, I thought, well, Istanbul is kind of Europe. And I started discovering, reading more about Istanbul. Like, I know about the historical importance, the Ottoman Empire, etc., etc. But, like, currently, what is Istanbul? I had no idea. So I thought, let me read more. I started reading more, I started understanding, and I came across this very beautiful expression. Istanbul, or Turkey in general, is a mix of East and West. You get the culture of East and you get the opportunities of West. It's not completely East and it's not completely West. So, this multicultural environment was something I thought, okay, maybe this can benefit me. Like, I'm coming here to study English literature, and what I wanted to study at that time was filmmaking. And for filmmaking, you need good people, you need multicultural environment, you need a lot of perspectives, different perspectives from different cultures and different people. Where do you get that? In a place which is a hub of so many ethnicities. Like, you have Kurdish people here, you have Arabs here, you have Central Asians here, you have Russians here, you have Southeast Asians, Indian Pakistanis here, you have Europeans here, you have students coming here from all parts of the world. And I thought, okay, this could be a place I can go to. And I came here, and this has been the best experience I've ever had. Now, how do I live my daily life in Turkey? That is a very important question. What's the cost of living? How does the transportation system work? How does the housing system work? And honestly, I have been very lucky here. The day I landed here, I was able to secure a dorm. I had my uncle; he was living here, and he coordinated with a few people, and I got into a dorm. So I might not be the best guy to ask about housing, and especially the struggles that come with, let's say, if you're living alone, or if you're renting a house. Because, well, let me give you one example. When we go to when we go to renew our residence permit application, they ask you for 1,000 documents. Okay, you need to get your rent, you need to get your gas bill, you need to get this bill, you need to get that bill, you need to get it notarized, you need to have the people who gave you this, your signature, blah blah blah. So, like 1,000 things, and I have not faced any of that. The reason is I live in a dorm, and when you're living in a dorm, the dorm gives you a paper that, okay, this is a student, I am the we call him the mudur, the ward chief warden, and he says this is a student who's living here. So I just take that document and I present it to people if they need it, and I don't have any problems with the documents. If you're living in a house, it can be a bit of a hassle, especially, let's say, if you need to find the bills, you never have it on time. And honestly, who keeps the bills? Like, somewhere it's some kept in under your bed or in your socks or in your shoes. We don't know where we keep it. So it's like 1,000. They have a lot of problems, really. The cost of living is not, it's not the best here. It's not expensive, but the inflation just keeps rising. So because of that, the prices are always increasing. Like, I have friends here. I have not been living here for that long. I've just been 2 years, 3 years. I have had friends living for 9 years, 10 years here, and they have been telling me, like, the price has literally, from things that used to cost 15 liras, now they are at least 150, 200 liras. This is like 10 times the price, not even 100%. Should be more than 1,000% increase. It's 10 times literally. So the cost of living is a bit of a problem. If you're coming from a rich family, you're lucky. If you're not coming from a rich family, you might have to work a little bit, secure some money, and especially, I would like to give you one tip. If you have foreign exchange, foreign currency, keep your foreign currency, okay? If you don't convert all of, let's say for example, you get 500 euros from your father or your $500 from your father, don't come here and exchange all 500 of them into liras. You have to spend here in liras, but don't exchange all of them. Just do how much ever is necessary, because of the inflation, the rate of exchange of dollar keeps rising. So if you have more dollars with you, essentially, let's say you were able to get 50 liras at one point, after 2-3 months you might be able to get like 55, 60, no one knows. And well, this is just $1, especially if you're getting like $2,000, $3,000, it can be like a good money that you can save. Transportation is this would be, it's very good. It's confusing. There are a lot of things here. You have shuttle services, you have buses, you have trams, you have zip lines, you have underground metro, you have up above, whatever you call them, you have boats. For a city which is so big as Istanbul, I think it's very well organized. Apart from that, in terms of how efficient it is, I think it is very efficient. I have visited a couple of cities in Europe. I've lived in Barcelona for 6 months, Slovakia for 6 months. I've seen a little bit of other countries and major cities like Rome, Vienna, Budapest, etc. In terms of efficiency of transport systems, I think Istanbul is the best, given the sheer number of people and the sheer size of the city. And finally, the people. I think the people are really nice. But try to speak a little bit Turkish, because sometimes they can be racist a little bit. The police, they are sometimes very stuck in their head and they act like they are the kings, but they can be scary also sometimes. I've had a few friends who have not have had like good experiences with the police. If you speak a little bit of Turkish, maybe you can manage it, but the people, they're kind of, the people that I'm living with in the dorm, they're very nice, but that's mainly because none of them are from Istanbul. All of them came from different parts of Turkey. Most of them are from the eastern part, very cultural, very Islamic, very family oriented. The ones who are living in Istanbul, they are a little bit cut off from the rest of the Turkey, mainly because first of all, this is a fairly European society compared to other parts of Turkey. Apart from that, the culture here is mixed with Europe. The eastern part of Turkey, Ankara, Gaziantep, I've visited a few of those places, and it's still a little bit, how do you say, conservative. But in Istanbul, it's not that much. You have closer families, you have more fights, you have more enmity. Istanbul has a huge population. There is traffic every time. Like you can go out at 1 o'clock at night, there's traffic. Everyone is on the move. Everyone wants to get more money. Everyone wants to earn more. Everyone wants to go to this job and that job. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of people fighting for their jobs. A lot of ambitious people. A lot of students who are going for this job and that job. So it's a very busy city. People are, just within themselves. So sometimes they can be a little bit off-putting, a little bit scary. But they're not bad people. They're just mostly stressed because of the city that they're living in. But otherwise, I have really loved Istanbul. Let's come to the academics. Like, this is one of the most important reasons why anyone chooses any place. Like, yes, culture is important, opportunities are important. It's also very important that you're studying in a place that you like and you enjoy. But at the end, academics is important. So here's my really honest opinion. The professors here, they are very good, okay? And I'm saying this, and I'll be saying this further in the video about how my experiences with other professors from other countries have not been good. In Turkey, for the most part, in my own department, it has been very good. The teachers are very supportive here. The teachers are more like guides and mentors rather than professors. They're not someone who just come here and be like, oh, you go and study this, you go and teach this, I'm here, you have to obey me. Like, they sit down on your level, try to understand what exactly is it that you're, not able to solve, and then they come up with different approaches. This is my department. Maybe in other departments, in math, I'm 100% sure in physics it will be very different. In my department, this has been the case. In terms of students, there are not many international students in my department, and it's kind of understandable. There's no one who's technically coming to study English in Istanbul. Like, the fact that I came here, I'm also surprised. Like, I'm doing this video with these people after my experience. Before coming here, I was like not very sure. I thought like, okay, maybe I come here and it's not going to be that good. I just took my chance and I came here. I'm giving this opinion in retrospection. It has been good here. In my department, there are not many international students, but the Turkish ones, they're coming from different parts of Turkey. They have different opinions. And one thing I like about my department especially, and especially in general in Turkey, is people talk about politics. And the way people talk about politics, they reveal themselves. What do they think? Are they open-minded? Are they liberal? Do they, let's say, think critically? Are they supportive of certain policies? The way they think, the way they act, all of that is revealed through these political opinions. And Turkey is one of the places where people talk about politics every time they're drinking chai. If you're coming here and you're drinking chai, just assume people are going to ask you your political opinions. One of the biggest reasons why I came here to Istanbul, and especially to my university, Bilgi University, was the fact that they have a lot of study abroad exchange opportunities. This was something I never knew. Like, I come from India, and if you're doing your bachelor's in India, well, you do all of your bachelor's in India, and let's say if you want to go for master's to another country, you can go. I found out that in Europe, it's a little bit different. Like, you can spend one semester, sometimes a few times, maybe more than that, in a different country, in a different city. And I was thinking, like, okay, if I'm going to Istanbul, I need like some freedom to go into different places. I don't just want to go and sit in one place and be like that. My father, he always says that you live in this world like you're a traveler, in more than one sense. So I thought, if I'm coming to Istanbul, I need to be in a city which gives me, in a university which gives me a lot of opportunity to go abroad. And surprisingly, this university, the one that I'm in right now, I will be graduating soon, inshallah. They had a very good exchange program. They have partnerships with a lot of universities. So at the end of my university, at the end of my second semester actually, the forms for these exchange programs came out. These are called Erasmus, by the way. Erasmus is the European regional, I don't know, they're just called Erasmus. So I applied to this. I applied for this program, and we had to go through an English test. Usually, the way this works in my university, and I think in most of the universities, is that when you're applying for these programs, they make a list of people who are, let's say, they take 50% of your GPA grade. They give you an English test, and then they consider that English test 50% of that grade, and then they mix it up, and then they make a ranking based on who's on the top, and depending upon that, they kind of give you the opportunity, like, okay, you've passed a certain threshold, and now you can go to your university. So first time I applied, I was in my first year, and usually people don't apply in their first years. Usually they apply in the second years, and I asked a couple of my international student friends also, like, are you guys applying for this thing? Are you guys applying for this thing? And they were like, oh, we have just arrived in Turkey. It's been like 1 year. We just want to settle, at least have some roots here, and then we can start applying. It's that's the approach of stability. I was not looking for that. I was thinking, well, I'm here, so it's not that my life is going to stop here, and I will keep moving. So let me just start moving. I applied, and the university that I had chosen was University of Barcelona, Universitat de Barcelona, in Catalonia in Spain. And I always wanted to go to Barcelona for the fact that I'm a huge football fan. and I hate Real Madrid. I love Barcelona. For that fact, I had to go to Barcelona. Um, that's the reason, honestly. Like, a lot of people apply, oh, this university has a lot of good opportunities, this university is in a very big city, this university has a lot of cultural international students, and I was like, I care about football. Okay, I don't care about the university, I don't care about where I'm going. If it's Barcelona, you give me like a shithole, I'm going there. Sorry for this, but I went there. I applied, and luckily I got into it, and that was my first experience. That was my first Erasmus semester. I think that was my third, yeah, it was my third semester. Second year, first semester, which was like my third semester. I went there in September, and I was there up until I think end of January. Those 5 months, um, they were good. A little bit lonely, I would say. This was like my first time I was living in a house. Like, when I came here to Istanbul, I was living in a dorm. I went there, I had to do my own cooking, and if I show you a couple of the photos of the things that I cooked, you would feel like closing the phone. So I'm a really bad cook. So in that experience, it was difficult for me to integrate there, because I have to do all of the things. I have to do my own laundry, I have to do my own cooking, I have to do my own studies, I have to do my own, let's say, residence. Thank God I had the visa and everything, so I did not have that many problems with the government. But getting the phone, getting the SIM, getting the rent, paying the rent, getting the bills and everything, it was a huge hassle for me. And I kind of feel that now, like in how people who are living here in Istanbul, students who are living in houses, how they feel. I felt this in Barcelona. If I come to my professional experience there, the academics in Barcelona, they were good. The education system is very traditional. It's how do I say, it's like, it's not very innovative. Like, the reason why I like my department here in my university is because it's very experimental. I went there, and I went to, I think, Faculty of Education, and I took a few dance classes, theater classes. I almost failed in those classes. I took 2 literature classes there, and in those 2 literature classes, like, I got to know a few people, I got to know the curriculum, the way things work. And that is a very traditional university. It's a very old university, one of the best universities in Spain, but it's very traditional, like the way things work there. The syllabus, like, it's all classical syllabus. The way education is supposed to be, that's how it is. The reason why I chose my university here in Istanbul, even though it doesn't have a very good ranking, was because the education system was a bit new. It was innovative, it was experimenting with like, how can we teach the same things, how can we cultivate the same skill set in our students, while at the same time being innovative and being relevant to the modern times. So when I went to Barcelona, I was a little bit disappointed with this thing. For example, I took a Shakespeare class. We had to read 3 plays. At the end, the test was like, she gave us one question, write 1,000 words. Oh, okay, it's nice, it's very classical, the way education system works, but I was expecting a little bit more experimentation. In terms of my, like, daily experiences and stuff like that, I love Barcelona. In terms of personal growth, it helped me a lot. I was like in a city, I did not speak the language. One of the benefits that I got when I came to Turkey was the fact that I'm a Muslim, and this is a Muslim society. So even though we don't share the same language, we might not share the same food. Turkish food doesn't have spices, by the way. And there might be a lot of differences in culture, etc., people, but at least we share the same religion. And that was like one connecting point which I had. For example, if I have to get up early in the morning and pray, there are other people who are doing that. They may not speak my language. They may not share the same food prices. They may not like the chai that I drink. They are not doing the education that I'm doing. There may be lots of differences, but at least we know that when we have to get up in the morning and pray, we are all going to do it together. There are so many times I just do stuff and they understand, and we do it all together without even having to say anything. When I went to Barcelona, this was a little bit different. It's not a Muslim society, it's a Catholic, Christian, I think it's a Catholic society. And so the language is different. By the way, they don't speak Spanish. Like, they speak Catalan, and Sometimes they hate if you speak Spanish, and if you speak one or two words of Catalan, they will love you. I think if you don't know about the issue of Catalonia, you can go and search it out. They are fighting their own independence movement. But so the language was an issue. The culture was an issue. The food is okay. The restaurants they have, it's a fairly international city. It's a very small city, by the way. Istanbul, I think, is around 6,000 meters, 6,000 square meters or kilometers. I think it's square meters. Barcelona is around 250. So it's a very small society. Sometimes I used to, like the first day I walked, I did not have my transportation card with me, like the bus pass. So I thought, okay, let me just walk. In one day, I finished the whole of Barcelona, like just walking. I was tired at the end of the day, but I was able to do all of that. And the main reason was it was very small. So in that sense, I loved Barcelona. Lots of opportunities. Definitely more exposure to English than Turkish society. It's understandable. It's in Europe, you know. You have it's in Spain, but you know you have people coming from France, coming from Germany, a lot of Moroccans there. You have people from all over. Most of the, for example, the stores, what do you call? The grocery stores. They were owned by Indians or Chinese, and this was very surprising. Like there is no white European, Spanish, Catalan guy or girl who's owning these things. So it's very different economic. I would love to do a research paper on that. But by the way, so in that sense, the society was nice. The culture was okay. I was not able to integrate that much in the beginning. By the time I was leaving, I think I was fairly confident that I can, you know, come back into this society again at some point in the future, and I might be able to survive. In terms of yeah, so I came back, I think in February. I did one semester here, and usually this is like the way Erasmus works is like you do one semester and you come back. When I came back, now usually the reason why people do one semester is because they usually apply in the second year, which means they go for the third year. When they come back, it's almost fourth year, the final year, and usually in the final year, no university accepts it, or even they don't want to go because it's the final year. You have a lot of pressure if you have to do a thesis, etc. That's also an issue. I applied when I was in my first year. So I went to my second year. I thought, okay, I have one more opportunity. And usually, like, I'm like, why didn't I think of this before? I came back. I applied again. I was not confident that I would get into another university because I think there are some regulations where if you apply again, then they kind of deduct certain points from the final grading because they want to, you know, give a chance to people who have not studied, who have not went on Erasmus before. I applied again to I thought, let me just choose a university which is not that good. I had some options from Italy, some options from Germany, one in Slovakia, I think two in Slovakia, I think one in Budapest, Romania, etc. I thought, okay, I have seen the Western Europe. I've seen Barcelona, which means I've seen how the West works, the Western Europe. I wanted to experience the Eastern European lifestyle. You know, the Slavic lifestyle. Is it different? Is it same? It's still Europe, but is it same? Is it different? Or is it difficult? How is it? And the fact that not many people would be applying there, it gave me a benefit that, you know, if I'm applying again, even if I have a low grade, I might get in because there's no one applying here. I applied. Luckily, I got an opportunity. In that same year, when I came back from Barcelona in January, the September, this would be my third year, first semester. I went to Slovakia. This place was very different. It was like, I don't know, like I have never seen this society before because it's so cold, firstly. Secondly, like you kind of have an idea about what the West is because of Hollywood movies, because of the, you know, the movies being made, because of so many memes, because the fact that you study those things when you're studying history and politics, like French Revolution and the World War and this and that, and you know, so you kind of know what is Spain, even though you have never been there. You know Spain, France, Germany. Who knows Slovakia? Who knows Slovenia, Czech Republic? Most people, when I went there, like my father himself, he was like, "Oh, you're going to Czechoslovakia." I'm like, "No, it's not one country now. It was 1990 something. They broke up." So, It's a very different society. It's very cold, uh, literally because of the snow and the fact that the people, they're also kind of reserved. Like if you interact with them, like if you ask them a question, they will answer you and then go back to do whatever they want. They're not as hospitable or as warm as Turkish people. You know, if you ask Turkish people one question, they will give you 1,000 answers, and then they get excited. Like you can see their physical body giving that reaction that they want to talk to you, they want to get to know you. Slovakia was so different at first, and at first I was kind of offended. Like okay, you don't have to. Like I thought this was like racism or something. Like okay, I'm coming from outside Slovakia, so you don't care about me. Like at least be a little bit um, polite. Like okay, even if you are racist, no problem, but at least don't show it. So I had this thing. At first I was like offended, and then I was like, whatever. So I started talking to more people, and some of my friends, they had similar experiences. Then I talked to a few Slovak people. I went to a university in Košice. Košice is on the western side, almost close to Ukraine, and there were a lot of Ukrainian students there, Polish students there. And one thing I came to know is like even among themselves, they're very cold. It's not something that they are showing just to me; they're just showing that face to everyone, which is something I came to appreciate that, because if you know, they were not pretending. Like a lot of people who are very excited, who are very warm, sometimes you feel that they're very shallow, like they're doing this to everyone. So like you feel special a little bit in the beginning, but then you see this same guy who's reacting in the same way to a totally different guy, and then you feel okay, so I'm not special or something like that. So but these people in Slovakia, they were cold, but they were honest. They were very sincere. I love this fact about them. They were very sincere. Like if they have a problem, they won't pretend that it might be very impolite to ask you or something. Like, but they will never hurt you just for the reason of hurting you. Sometimes people who are very warm and outgoing, especially in Western Europe, they can kind of hide in their underbelly some form of racism. Like they're trying to be polite, but they still be like, okay, you are you and we are we. There is a we versus you. In Slovakia, I did not feel like that. So that was good. The society was good. They drink a lot of alcohol. The beer is cheaper than water. Uh, Apart from that, the culture is very different. It's cold, really. Like after 8 o'clock at night, you don't see anyone outside. In Istanbul, you go out at 12 o'clock at night, and you see a lot of you see traffic. In there, after 8 o'clock, if you go, you basically feel like it's, you know, you're in a village. I traveled a lot in Slovakia. We had like a free train pass, and the students, and we can just go anywhere in Slovakia. So sometimes we used to just plan, okay, let's just go to the capital Bratislava, which is on the eastern side, next to Vienna. Then there were a few heritage small sites, villages, snow-covered mountains, and we thought, well, let's just go there. It's free. We don't have to pay anything. We have time. Let's go. So we made those choices, and I discovered Slovakia a lot, and I can say it's been like my most favorite place I've ever been. The people have been so like cute in their personality, have been so honest and sincere, and the place is very scenic, very beautiful, very anti-fake. Like they don't pretend, which is a very good quality for our modern age. If I talk about studies, well, I went there for study. I did not study that much, but you know, Erasmus is more for exploring the culture and the place. But the study is good. Again, the education is very traditional compared to Turkey. If you talk about opportunities, I did not see that much. I think maybe I did not explore that much, but it's not an international country. It's not an international city where I was in. The population was around 250,000, which might sound a very I mean, it depends upon who you are and where. If you're watching this from India, maybe you think that, oh, that's a village. If you're watching this from, let's say, New Zealand, you might think that, oh my God, that's huge. So, but the population, I come from India. The city that I come from, Mumbai, it's 22 million population. Istanbul, 25 million population. I went to this city. This is the second biggest city. Apparently, the commercial center. I'm like, this is a village. Okay, this is basically a village. It's very small. You can just walk. In about 3 hours, you can finish the whole city. So not many opportunities there, but I doubt if people there are competing. Like they're not that ambitious compared to bigger cities, Istanbul, Mumbai, Barcelona. These people are very ambitious. They want to work hard. They want to get ahead in their career. They want to like have a job. Like they want to keep moving. Slovakia was that one place which taught me like just stay in your place. It's so like I don't know. It's so like they made me stop, like pause and live in this city. Just stay, like breathe. This was like one of the best things I've ever done. And apart from this, in terms of education, it's fairly traditional. Like I said, lots of it's I did not like that education system, by the way. So then I came back in January, February. I visited a couple of places: Prague, Vienna, Rome, and just like going with my friends, etc. I was living in a dorm. I cooked food. It was better than Barcelona, but still not as good as I thought. But yeah, otherwise, I think both of these experiences have been very, very good, very influential, very important for me, and they helped me develop, like, shape my personality. Like, I used to think that I could not do something, but the fact that, when I started traveling, it's something, when you travel, you discover a lot about yourself. The way you think, the way you react, the way you react to pressure, stress, etc. So many things, so many problems. And when you start facing these problems, you start thinking that, oh, like, I was not able to do this thing. I never thought that I will be able to do this in my life, and now I'm just doing it. There's a very famous quote which I like: you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option, right? And that's so true. Like, you never know if you can solve some problem until you are in that problem, and then you solve it and you discover, oh my god, you have a magical ability. So these trips, these experiences, they helped me a lot. They shaped my career. Who I am. They taught me independence. They taught me so many beautiful things, gave me so many beautiful memories. And honestly, like, I couldn't have made a better choice. Like, coming here, I have a few friends who went to America. Some of them were staying in India, one of them San Francisco and New York right now. And when I was applying from my high school, I thought it's bad. Like, I'm going to Turkey, they're going to the West. But if I compare my life right now with them, I feel like really, really good. Um, the final question would be like, how is Turkey for the new people who are planning to come here? For people, new people, who is it perfect for? Who is it not perfect for? And most importantly, if I were to do all of this again, would I do it? The easy answer is it depends. I think it's the most politically correct answer you can say. It comes down to your individual circumstances. It depends on your own family situation. It depends on what you want to do, what kind of environment you want. I can give you my own experience. For example, I I was not comfortable spending like thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars to study in Europe or West. Like, okay, yeah, I want to study and I want to get a Western education, but I don't want to spend that much. And in terms of that, I think Turkey helps me. It's like I'm not paying so much. Like, I'm still paying in dollars, by the way, but I'm not paying as much as I would have paid, let's say, if I was in US, if I was in Spain, if I was in Germany. I would not be doing all of those things. So the education here is cheap. The education here is, I would be lying if I said it's on par with the European education system, even though it's traditional, like I mentioned in Slovakia and Barcelona, the experiences that I've had. Even though it's traditional, it's good. It's established education. I might not like it because I might have a different style, but if most people like that, the reason why the top universities, all of them are, let's say, in Germany, in UK, in Europe, in US, it's mainly because they have an established education like foundation, the way university works, the way education system works. They have much better education policies. They have higher funding from the government, which makes it very simple and easy for students to study there. Like, there are a lot of opportunities for students there. So I would be lying if I say the education is very good here. It's good for me. It's innovative, which is something I wanted. It's also cheap. If you're looking for these kinds of things, something which is European, but at the same time not that European because you come from a culture which is not European, and which this was important to me. I don't want to just jump into a water that I do not know. I wanted a bridge. Like at the end, yes, I do want to go to Europe and study there, but I wanted a bridge. I wanted somewhere where I can come, where I can experience my own culture, and say goodbye to that, and then say hi to a new culture. And I think in that sense, Turkey is kind of that. I mean, apart from literally being a bridge, Eurasian being on both the Europe and Asian continent, in terms of cultural, I think it has been very good for me. I loved it a lot. If you're looking for such a kind of education where it's cheap, where you get opportunities, where you get to experience both sides of Europe and of your own culture. There are a lot of cultures here. The multicultural environment is so good. If for these things, I would recommend Turkey. If you're one of these things, I think Turkey would be a good option for you. For who is the I think if you're not willing to learn Turkish, maybe Turkey is not that good of an option for you. For my first year, and I wish I had done this differently. In my first year, I did not study Turkish. I tried learning Turkish. It was so boring for me, and I was like, I'm not learning this. I can survive here in English. Right now, I was able to, I did not find jobs. I did not find internships. Nothing. And at that time, I was a little bit okay. I'm like, okay, I'm just come here to study, etc. Nothing to do, nothing much. But once you grow in your field, and once you start to enter the adult life, and once you start thinking about your career, you need those opportunities. And there are a lot of opportunities here, but you need to speak Turkish. If you don't speak Turkish that well, chances are you won't get a good job here. If you want to come here, if you want to settle here, you would need to learn and understand Turkish. If you're someone who's not willing to put in that effort to learn a new language, to learn a new culture, culturally, okay, you can still find people who are from different cultures here, and Istanbul is very welcoming. But in terms of language, I think you will need to learn it. I was able to secure a few jobs because the fact that I started learning Turkish. One thing which I would do differently, if I was doing all of this process again, it depends on my circumstances. At the time where I was doing the applications, financially, my family, we were not that bad, we were not that good, so this seemed like a good choice. Apart from that, I wanted a little bit religious background, since I was a little bit scared if I go directly into a society which is not that religious, and religion is very important for me. I might just slip, or I was scared basically. So I wanted a place where I can be a Muslim, and at the same time I can get a good education. Maybe right now, I guess it's not that important for me. I have developed and I grew as a person. I have more confidence in who I am, so I'm not that worried about my identity. Even if I go to a place which is not that religious, maybe I can survive. But back then, especially when you're a teenager and when you're applying, you kind of have an identity crisis. In those moments, you need people who look like you, who speak your language, who understand your culture, who share the same food habits, so that you can develop a sense of security. For that reason, I made this decision to come here. Right now, if I would do it, maybe I would make a different decision. I am pretty stable in my identity. I'm not that worried about who I am that much. I've grown as a person in the last 2-3 years because of my experiences. Turkey has shaped me into becoming a very different version. The last time I went to my house was after 2 years to my parents, and they were saying, you have changed a lot. When you went, you were just a child, and even though I was 18, but I was very different. When I came here, there was a lot of changes that I went through. So I would, if I had to start all over again, maybe I would, maybe I won't, it depends. But I would prefer Europe right now. And I mean, for my master's, that's exactly what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to go to Vienna, study there. But let's see. It comes down to whatever your preferences are. I think people should be free to make your own decision. You have to, if I could give you an advice, don't just think about education. Okay, one place might have a good education, but they might have different problems. And if you are not ready to deal with those problems, maybe that place is not the best for you. Even though they might have the best education, you need a balance of education, a balance of culture, a balance which helps you like be to be stable, especially in this during these times when you're completing your bachelor's. So this would be my advice. I would like to thank Prime Group a lot for bringing me into this interview and allowing me to share my experience. Thank you so much.